Yo, what's up? Dallas Cowboys State of the Union back at it again with another video. And today, we want to talk a little bit about the 2019 Dallas Cowboys schedule. Now, I'm going to go first. Looked at the schedule last night, had some time to kind of ponder on it and look at all the different potential matchups. And of course, you know, when you look at these schedules, you're looking at it from the eyes of we're going to have a fully healthy team. Nobody's going to get hurt, things like that. However, the draft hasn't happened yet. So we don't know what teams are getting better. We're just going based off of intuition and what we think. But I'm going to go ahead and say it. I feel like this could be a potentially 11-5, 10-6 season. I'm leaning more towards 11-5. I think that the first half of our schedule is fairly easy. We have a lot of games in there that we can win very easily. First off, what is your predictions for wins and losses?
I'm gonna go ahead and say 12-4. I think this is not only a 12-4 schedule, but this is a 12-4 team. And if you look at the first 5 games of the seasons, the Giants, we played them week 1, Redskins week 2, Dolphins week 3, at the Saints week 4, and at home against the Packers. I see us going 4-1
right
within those first 5 games. I think this is a 12-4 team. They're talented.
Yes. And
this is a 12-4 schedule. And when I looked at the schedule yesterday, I was actually a little shocked that it wasn't tougher.
Yeah, and relieved, because a lot of people always say, okay, well, the Cowboys, they're set up for for an 8-8 season. They have a first place schedule. They can win the division. Teams are going to be harder. But I've been telling people, I said, for instance, if you look at 2016, the schedule we had, we did very well. We were supposed to have a first place schedule the next year. I felt like we could have won 12-4 that particular year, but a lot of things was looming over our heads, like the Ezekiel Elliott suspension. Our receiver core had completely fell apart. The Dez Bryants of the world and Terrence Williams of the world, that continuity that they had with Dak in the 2016 season wasn't there in the 2017 season. But I felt like that was going to be a 12-4 year. And then when you looked at the next, we finished middle of the pack that year. And so when we looked at the 2018 season, I looked at it and I was like, are you kidding me? The 2018 schedule looks harder than the first place schedule we was playing. And then
right.
So now getting back to us having winning the division, having another first place schedule, this schedule looks easier than last year's schedule in my personal opinion. Now I will say December, the latter half of November throughout December, that's going to be pretty tough. We got some tough matchups. For instance, we got the Patriots, we got the Rams, we got the Bears, we got the Eagles in that last matchup. Now, one thing we can say is that Dak Prescott is his best in November and December. That's a far stretch from what we used to say about Romo.
Yeah.
Romo used to be the December from hell. That was pretty much the motto that was always perpetuated with Romo, because he somehow kind of fell apart a lot of times in December. But with Dak, we see Dak normally struggling at the beginning of the season and somehow finding it and figuring it out towards the end of the season. I mean, you look at 2017, once he got the idea of Zeke Elliott is not here. We saw in them last 3 games he was able to put some things together and play some of his best football with Zeke Elliott not being there. And unfortunately, we couldn't get it done. We couldn't make it to the playoffs that year, but we finished 9-7. So it was still a winning season. So when you look at it like this, I have faith that Dak is going to be able to at least win 2 out of 4 of these tough games. And by the tough games, I mean the Patriots, the Bears, the Rams, and the Eagles. I feel like we can win 2 out of 4 of those. But those are going to be the tough game of the stretch.
Yeah,
but
that December schedule is brutal. And getting back to last year's schedule, I didn't think last year's schedule was hard. I think it seemed hard because of the way we started. We started 3-5 and had to dig ourselves out of a hole. I didn't think last year's schedule was hard. This year is, to me, is like I said, I was shocked that it wasn't tougher. But yeah, you mentioned the December schedule. at the Bears, at home against the Rams, at the Eagles, and the last game of the season at home against the Redskins. That is a very brutal.
Yes,
schedule.
it's a very brutal schedule. But I feel like, honestly, I feel like a lot of people. Well, let's break it down like this. Now, of course, everybody already know we're playing with the first place schedule, and with our division, we're playing the AFC East, and then we're also playing the NFC North, and then we're also playing all of the division winners, as well as our, three teammates our three teams in the NFC East division. So when you look at the AFC East division, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this: I feel like we can go 3-1 in that, but I wouldn't be surprised if we go 4-0
in the AFC East.
In the AFC East, and the reason, I say 3-1. But I feel very confident about saying that I wouldn't be surprised if we go 4-0. I feel like the only tough team that we will have is the Patriots in that AFC East, bracket in the AFC East division. But when you look at it like this, I think we'll have a little toughness just because you're playing Belichick, you're playing Brady up in Foxborough. But I'm going out on a limb saying that we could go in Foxborough and we can still take care of business.
Yeah, I see us going 3-1. I also wouldn't be surprised if we go 4-0. But there's a chance to also see us going 2-2. The reason why is people are not paying attention to the Jets. The Jets, I think, has a sneaky good team. They signed Le'Veon Bell to help out Sam Darnold. They signed Jamison Crowder to help out that receiver corps with opposite Roddy Anderson. And, you look at the defensive side, they added C.J. Mosley, that general middle linebacker in the middle. So when you think of that, is the Jets are a good team themselves. So, yeah, I can see us. I say we will likely go 3-1. I wouldn't be shocked if we go 4-0, but I also wouldn't be shocked if we go 2-2 against the AFC East, because the Jets are a sneaky good team on the up and coming.
I agree. Now, when we look at the NFC North, of course, that means we got the Packers, we got the Lions, we got the Bears, and, of course, we got the Vikings. I feel like we will win against the Packers. Dak has played some of his best games against Aaron Rodgers. A lot of people say, we lost 2 out of those 3 games. Yes, but those games were very close, and Dak had some of his best numbers. I think he plays very well against Aaron Rodgers. Not to mention, we're going to be playing Aaron Rodgers at AT&T Stadium. So I feel like that is a definite win. We got the Vikings again at AT&T Stadium. So I feel like those both can be solid wins right there. We look at the Lions. We're going into the Lions house at Ford Center, I believe, in Detroit. Ford Field in Detroit. But you look at it like this. I feel like the Lions, I feel like they're still in rebuild mode. They got the new coach last year or whatnot, and they basically gutted the team. Not saying that they're not going to put up a fight, because I never underestimate Matthew Stafford. I feel like he's a good quarterback that a lot of people sleep on, and he has his moments where he shows up for the occasion. So I think that would be a tough game, but I can see us handling that. The only team that I see us having struggles with is the Bears. And the only reason I say that is not because of the Bears and the team that they have, because they do have a great team. Don't get me wrong. You got Khalil Mack on that defense or whatever, and him by himself, he wreaks havoc on any offense. That's true. But I also look at it like this: we're going to play them up in Soldier Field. So when you look at it like that, you're going up in their house in the dead of winter when it's cold. We're a dome team. We practice indoors. So I think we might have a little bit of trouble there too. But we looked at last season when we went to Lincoln Financial, and it was brutally cold up there in Philly, and we was able to make things happen. So it's just so many different variables that can happen, but I think they're the team that might give us some trouble out of NFC North.
Well, yeah, the Bears, to me, the Cowboys and the Bears are 2 identical teams, in my honest opinion. Both of them have a great defense. I think the Bears has a slightly better defense than ours, slightly. And, they run the football very well. I think it's all going to come down in that matchup between the quarterback, between Dak and Mr. Trubisky. And if I had to bet my money, I'm betting Dak all the time. That's not me being a Cowboys homer. I'm just looking
at the stats
comparing the quarterbacks side by side, is Mr. Trubisky has a penchant to turn the ball over.
Yes, and when you turn the ball over too many times, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to win the game.
Right.
Now, before we get out of here, you said we're going 12-4, so tell me the potential games that you see us losing. Those 4 games you see us losing.
Okay, well, week 4 against the Saints, I see us losing that matchup
at the
Superdome. It's just something about the Superdome. That crowd gets rockets, and they're gonna want their revenge from last.
They're gonna want their revenge from last time. Sean Payton's not gonna get body rocked in his own house,
right?
And then on top of that, you look at it like this again. At the Superdome is crazy. However, this is a primetime game, and we excel in primetime games. Yeah. So I do see that as a potential loss, but I wouldn't be surprised if we could come out with a victory.
Me too. I'm just looking at the home field advantage here, right. And it's clearly in the Saints' favor. The next game that I see us losing is, I think we're going to lose one against the Eagles.
Yeah.
At Lincoln Financial Field. That's week 16. Mm-hmm. I see us losing one of those matchups. The Bears is another matchup in week 14 that I see us losing. And the last one is the Patriots in week 12.
Gotcha.
So
I agree.
Those my 4 losses.
I agree with those. I said we'll go 11-5. So I agree with those 4 that you picked. One that is kind of a wild card for me is the Rams. Just because we played the Rams in 17, and we started out real good, but the Ryan Switzer fumble is what let that team come back. That's the wild card game for me. That's the defining game that I feel like, okay, that could take us from being a 12-4 team to 11-5 team, just because you just don't know. Now, we do have the advantage of them coming back to our house, so hopefully we can handle business in our house, but you just never know with a team.
Right. I mean, the Rams are a good team, but I confidently think we can beat them, just because, for one, you have a young defense that has another year of experience
under the Chris
Richard regime. Yeah. You also are playing at AT&T Stadium, so that home crowd, that home field is an advantage.
Right.
And I just think, they got something to prove against the Rams.
Right. I agree.